me for my voice, but I have never seen anything like it.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Hey, welcome back, boys and girls. Andrew Zimmel, your host as always. A lot of content already out today. HBO Max review, also NFL quarterbacks, how I'm out on every single one of them. Everybody's very excited. Everybody's very happy right now with their quarterback situation, and I talked about every quarterback that played last year. So I didn't knock out the rookies. I didn't want to go, well, Joe Burrow and Tua, because we don't know. But I do know what I saw last year. And what I saw last year from a lot of guys wasn't great. Wasn't special. So we have those out for you. You want to go check those out, you can. Let's talk about MLB, because we want to talk about the MLB and the NBA, because the Knicks might get a new coach. And then I'm going to talk about this controversy that is wild, that I did not even see. Did not even recognize this till like yesterday night. So big controversy that I missed. So Major League Baseball, we did this a little bit yesterday. Doesn't look like they're going to get a deal done. Max Scherzer, who is on the board, on the committee to like help talk about this type of stuff, to negotiate a new deal with the owners and players. He tweets, after discussing the latest developments with the rest of the players, there's no reason to engage with MLB in any further compensation reductions. We have previously negotiated a pay cut in the version of a prorated salaries, and there's no justification to accept a second pay cut based upon the current information the union has received. I'm glad to hear other players voicing the same viewpoint and believing MLB's economic strategy would completely change if all documentation were to become public information. So, we'll do conspiracy theory Zimmel second. We're going to do reality Zimmel first. Reality Zimmel says this deal's not going to get done. The Players Association, I've said from the beginning, one of the strongest unions in the world. Not strongest union in sports, not strongest union in sports where there's a ball involved, strongest unions in the world. So I had an idea that this deal wasn't going to get done unless Major League Baseball really came to the table and gave them a fair cut, a fair offer. Now, let's get this out of the way. Steven on Twitter, Chad on Twitter, Brad on Twitter, saying there's 30 million Americans out of work. It's very deaf of you, not forward-thinking of you to be complaining about pay cuts when all these Americans are out of work. To answer that is, all right, it's like a 4% of the original salary. It's like a 70% pay cut for some of these players. I don't know if anybody in America is taking a 70% pay cut during this coronavirus. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there who are working really hard. I know there's a lot of people out there who are doing their absolute best to scrape by. I'm in that same group with you, but let's be real. Like, a 70% pay cut is absurd, especially when you have billion-dollar owners. So I get where Scherzer, I get where the Players Association is coming from. Now let's do the conspiracy theory side of this, because this is my conspiracy theory. You saw at the very end of that tweet that the very end of that was the I'm glad to hear players voicing the same viewpoints and believing MLB's economic strategy would completely change if all documentation were to become public information. So let's do it. Of the players who are on this board, which player is most likely to leak the information? Because here are the top elected officials from the Players Association, right? It's Andrew Miller, Daniel Murphy. Alternate reps are Max Scherzer, Elvis Andrus. Then it's a couple other guys. These are the players who I'm thinking, the players, quote unquote, who are most likely to like leak it. I'm going Scherzer. I think Scherzer's wily. I think he's a rascal. You know, I think that he's the type of dude, he's a wild card. I think he's the type of dude that would totally leak this, put this out there to the media, slip this to a reporter, and have all the financial stuff. Because, like I've said before, this deal it's getting more and more likely it's not going to get done. ESPN is tweeting about how there's like the chance of a prorated season. The Players Association is looking to play more games. The players want a season of 100-plus games, full salaries, and they want to look at the documentation to get more specific on Major League Baseball's financial problem. This is me, and I'm a very pro player, but this is my kind of question here. If the owners give you this documentation, I think it's common knowledge that it's not going to be the players that are going to be looking at it. Mike Trout and, Albert Pujols are going to be looking over the financial information for the Players Association. It's going to be lawyers. Lawyers are going to hand this over to other lawyers. So lawyers are going to be working on behalf of the players, which happens over and over and over again. And we're in a situation here, ladies and gentlemen, that it's the worst situation for baseball. Is that baseball has been known to have some of the greediest, undercutting owners that will rip off consumers, they'll rip off the fans, they'll rip off the cities that they are in, they'll rip off their players. Major League Baseball owners are not good people, okay? It's not like these are all Scrooge McDuck and they're taking their nephews out on wild adventures. These guys are capitalists. These guys are the people who are trying to make the most amount of money doing the least amount of work possible. You knew from the beginning they weren't going to get a good deal. You knew they weren't going to get a fair shake. But here's the thing about negotiation. If you say you need to get the deal done in July and it's October, you can come up with a bad deal in November and December and January. You just need to get the deal done by the end date. The problem with this, though, is that the end date is here. Like, the end date was a month ago. You need to get this deal done as soon as possible. So you can't go through the negotiations that you were trying to before. You can't go through hey, we're going to give you 2 bad deals before you give a fair shake. You need to come up with a better deal early. And the owners didn't do that, and the players sniffed it out, and they know not to take that deal. And that's going to be the demise of baseball. Like, this is the end. I don't want to be doom and gloom, but this is the end of baseball as we know it. Because it's not gonna work going forward. You're not gonna look at this and think like this is a good situation for the sport to be in. Even if they can play games this year, going forward is going to be hell for the Players Association and the owners. Like the strike in '94, people are saying, "Oh, this could have killed the sport." The steroid era, "Oh, this could have killed the sport." This is really going to kill the sport. If they don't play a season, they are going to go the way of hockey. That there are niche fans of hockey, there are niche fans of MMA fighting, there are niche fans of NASCAR, but at no point are any of those sports the number one thing the entire nation is fixated on. If there's a big fight, McGregor's fighting the aliens, sure. There's a NASCAR race, and there's like 30 dudes who are all unbeaten. They've all won races before. Okay, maybe. But let's be real here. Like, baseball sucks this thing up. If they fumble this bag, it's not going to be good going forward. All right. That's going to do it for baseball. We did a little bit on it yesterday, and we'll probably do a little bit on it tomorrow. But former Brooklyn Nets coach, moved on to basketball. Former Brooklyn Nets coach Kenny Atkins is going to be the new coach of the Knicks, it looks like. It looks like this is going to be a good hiring. This seems like the type of situation that you want to be in. Kenny figured out how to make those Nets pieces work so well that they got Kyrie and KD. Now the Knicks want to go make their pieces look really good so they can go get the next superstar player. Hopefully he gets 4 or 5 years, really builds up this team. But he doesn't seem like the type of coach. And I feel like real Debbie Downer today. He doesn't feel like the type of coach that's going to win you a title. Now, that said, Ty Lue won a title. But I don't think he's the type of coach that's like, let's go win a championship. Tom Thibodeau and Mike Miller are also among the New York Knicks candidates. Mike Miller is, of course, the guy who stepped in when they fired the last head coach, former Texas State Bobcat, by the way. And Tom Thibodeau is the type of coach that's going to run those players into the ground. The Knicks, man, I think that they still have something. And you can talk to Knicks fans and they'll say the same thing, but I really do think the Knicks have a spark. I think that they're missing just like one or two pieces, and they could be something really, really, really special. And if they can go get those pieces, I think the Knicks being good would be really, really, really fun. It would be hell on Twitter, but it would be really, really, really fun for the league. So I'm going to end it on this, because this is a controversy that I didn't see coming, and it was so shocking to me. If you rated the most social justice warrior people, right, in mainstream media, some MSNBC commentators would probably get up on there. You'd probably have a couple of CNN reporters on there. You would, of course, have Jimmy Kimmel, and of course you'd have Jimmy Fallon. The Jimmys are beloved. People really like these guys. ABC and NBC both are fighting for that second and third spot behind CBS and the Colbert Show, Late Night with Colbert. They're both trying to get to that point where they can like pass each other up. They just are always 2 and 3. So the news coming out that it was reported, it's not reported, you can go watch it on YouTube, there's a clip of Kimmel dressed up in blackface, and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, this is really bad. And then followed up by Fallon wearing blackface, pretending to be Chris Rock in a 2000 skit on SNL. Again, very bad. Very, very, very bad. And there's been no repercussions to this. Fallon came out on Twitter and apologized for it. I think he did like an Instagram Live too and apologized, which is, par for the course. People expect that. That's not shocking. But I have not seen ABC or NBC. I have not seen either one of those companies do anything about it. And it's just kind of wild. Kind of surprising. I think surprising would be the real deal. I just didn't expect this. And then of course Jamie Foxx defends Jimmy Fallon, saying that this is only just one sketch, and how there's other people who've done this before. Another thing, I'm just going to slip this in here at the very end. Jamie Foxx defended Robert Downey Jr. wearing blackface, defended Jimmy Fallon wearing blackface. I need to see Jamie Foxx go against people wearing blackface, like a celebrity wearing blackface. I think that there needs to be a good 4-to-1 ratio of people being mad at celebrities for doing this before we give them a pass. I don't know. That's just me. I think that we need to see a little bit more of people being mad about this. Jimmy Fallon apologized, so I guess that's cool, but sheesh. It's 2020, it never ends. And these guys didn't get canceled because I think that we're in the middle of the virus and people care more about that than this. But if this was a normal news week, he probably wouldn't have a job. So just throwing that out there. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Tune in tomorrow when we do this whole thing over again. It's been a lot of fun. We're getting back on the grind, putting out content for you guys. So hopefully we have an MMA podcast, I think, coming up pretty soon. It's weird to me to do that because there's not a lot of things happening. I think UFC's still occurring, but is there enough to really talk about to sink our teeth in? It's going to be debatable, I think. So we'll have a guest on. We'll talk UFC. All right, that's good. That's going to do it. Please stay safe. Wash your hands. Listen to this podcast. Those are the only two things you have to do now.